Welcome to Mary Walter Radio, the live cast. Thank you so much for joining me. My chair probably here, right? Like my chair, yeah, whatever, the chair's in the way. Hi, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you to all the subscribers, especially Rumble's really growing. Thank you so much over there on Rumble. I know they're a little bit further behind us than we are. There they are. So thank you. I appreciate it. Wendy Bell Army, the Rich Zioli Army. Thank you so much for joining me. You guys are fantastic. If you have not subscribed, please do so, whether you're watching on YouTube or follow me on Getter or on Rumble. That would be great. I'd appreciate it. And please don't forget to give a thumbs up to the podcast while you're watching it. The audio will be available probably Thursday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Spreaker. All right. Oh, thank you to EB for doing all the graphics for me. All of my guests. He does the ad blocks for all my guests. And his son is our biggest fan, Zach. Zach's our big fan. So my boyfriend, Zach, thank you so much for joining us. Crack my back. All right, let's get to it. Let's get to my guest. You know her. She's been on the podcast before. Melanie Collette, another Jersey girl in the house. Hello, honey.
Hello there.
Melanie is the chair of the Cape May GOP, which is her county
Vice
in New
chair.
Jersey.
Vice chair.
Vice chair. Oh, vice
don't
chair.
Don't get me in trouble with my chairman.
And you're also with CFACT, what is it, as a policy advisor?
I'm a senior policy analyst for Committee for Constructive Tomorrow, otherwise known as CFACT. Yes.
Okay, Committee for
a Constructive Tomorrow.
A Constructive Tomorrow. Oh, so you all the letters are in there then. Okay.
All the letters are in there.
Okay.
In your defense, it took me like a month to get that down pat. I'm not even kidding.
Well, congratulations.
Thank
you.
They
do exactly? What does Committee for a Constructive Tomorrow do?
They do common sense environmental policies where their focus is, but they really do common sense policy when it comes to prosperity for Americans and worldwide, but their focus is environmental policy. So they really combat the narrative of the woke left extremist narratives on the environment and come back with common sense environmental policies. We do quite a few white papers. We are all over the world. White papers, research, media to get the word out on what the facts are and the science are behind climate policy.
So why are you racist? Do you only do white papers?
I don't know why they're not called black papers, because they're usually kind of dark and dull and boring. But we do. On like the most recent one I did for CFACT was on this global plastics summit that took place in Geneva. The UN did it back in August, and it was very interesting because the news wasn't even covering it. And when the head of CFACT, the founder, Craig Rucker, came to me and asked me to cover it, I was like, why is this not on the news? Like the UN is literally trying to ban all plastics and all chemicals that are related to plastic. And why isn't this national news? Yeah. And it's not.
I think in the era of Trump, there's just so much news that you have to kind of pick and choose. I mean, there's a lot of stories that I look at and I'm like, the show's only 3 hours. You know, I'm filling in for Todd Starnes this week. By the way, if anybody would like to join me, his home station is KWAM, KWAM in Memphis, the mighty 990. So if you go to their webpage, you can listen, or you can look for KWAM, KWAM on TuneIn. And I will be in for him from noon to 3 tomorrow, Thursday, Friday. And then next week, I'm in for David Webb, 9 a.m. to noon on Sirius Patriot XM Channel 125, Sirius XM Patriot Channel 125, and that's 9 a.m. to noon. Plug. So, question: yes. How do they feel about the offshore drilling in New Jersey?
We are not fans at all. And as a matter of fact, that's how I got started at CFACT. Craig Rucker saw me speak against offshore wind. You may or may not know, we did not say this, and it's not in my bio, that I'm a county commissioner down here in Cape May County. I got elected in 2023. And the whole board strongly railed against offshore wind for a number of reasons off of our beautiful coast, not the least of which was, raising, it would have necessarily, as the climate extremists put it, raised the rates of electricity for our residents 30 to 40%, and 60% of our residents here in Cape May County are second home owners and retirees. So that's simply unsustainable. not to mention how it would affect small businesses and the tourists who came down here to enjoy our shores and our wineries, etc. And the biggest point and the biggest reason is because it's negligible as far as helping the energy crisis. It is negligible. Yeah. It doesn't even help. They don't know how they're going to get rid of or retire these wind turbines once they're done. It's a big old experiment. It negatively affects the fisheries. And sorry, you asked me this question. As a negative, the research has not been done seriously. They don't know how it's going to affect the fisheries. No, you're literally talking about drilling and putting cables underneath the ocean. And it already has, the work that they've done so far has already affected the dolphins and the whales and things like that. So, there's no proof, but what we do know is that since they started doing that work, we have had dolphins and whales wash up on our shores.
Oh, and it's crazy. It's crazy how much. And they've decommissioned six power producing plants. And they don't have any way to replace it. And then by 2035, we're only supposed to be driving electric vehicles in New Jersey, but we won't have any place to charge them. So they put all their all their what do you call it in one basket? I don't know.
Eggs
in one basket.
Thank you. They put all their eggs in the wind turbine basket. They seriously did. And just like many things when it comes to the Murphy administration, they did it backward. So they decided to shut down all those power plants. And so if you want to know, ladies and gentlemen, why, especially in New Jersey, why your electric bills are so high, it's simple supply and demand. They shut down 6 power plants and put all their eggs in the wind basket, and in Cape May County and other counties along the coast led the way in shutting that mess down. And now, at least for now, there are no wind turbines off the coast of Cape May County. And if we have anything to do with it down here, as far as the elected officials, we won't have any.
Yeah. All right, let's check and see who's here. We've got over on Rumble, we've got Lexus is here, Wendy Bell, Radio Army listener. Thank you so much for joining me. Sal is here. Bill's here. Rebecca is here. Sal, where is the electronic Mozart music? Yeah, well, I started it I'm starting at like 2 minutes to go, as opposed to 5 whole minutes of that. As much as I love it, and thank you so much for Ron for sending it to me. Wow. Okay. I don't know if we want to get into this just yet. We weren't going to start out with New Jersey news, New Jersey gubernatorial race, because I realize not everyone cares. But in a way, we can start out with this, because the question's been asked early on, before we were even on here, when they saw who my guest was. But I think New Jersey and Virginia, the 2 gubernatorial races that are coming up, are kind of bellwethers. I think they're important. And I do think that people are like, I don't care about New Jersey, I don't care about Virginia. And I get it. I totally understand that. But, Winsome Sears is amazing. When she was before she was the lieutenant governor of Virginia, when I was working in DC, we got to interview her. She is so smart. She's crazy smart. She's an immigrant. She's Black. She's a woman. She checks a whole lot of boxes. So the left should technically love her, but they don't like Black women. They don't like Blacks or women or immigrants who aren't the ones that they like. So they don't like legal, they like illegal, and they only like Black women who vote Democrat.
Yeah, they're not fans of Black conservative women. I promise you.
No. Yeah, you would know.
The only thing they hate more than conservatives are Black ones, and the only thing they hate more than Black male conservatives are female Black conservatives, and the only thing they hate more than that are Black female conservatives with mouths as big as mine and Winsome Sears.
Yeah, she's fantastic. So here in New Jersey, we also have a gubernatorial election coming up, and it's I think this should actually be getting more press. And there was actually a story in Fox today on foxnews.com about the woman who's running as Democrat, Maggie Sherrill. She's lived in New Jersey less than
10 years,
20 years. Yeah, not even.
It's been about 10 years.
Yeah, it's been about 10 years. So they send these carpetbaggers. The Democrats are smart. They send them to states where they're safe and that they know that they can get somebody in who has no experience, who isn't from there. I look at Hillary Clinton moving to Chappaqua to become a senator, right? Like there was that. So they're smart. You got to give them credit. I credit where credit is due. We may not agree with it. We may not like it, but they're smart. So we get this Mikey Sherrill, and all she keeps saying is, well, I was a helicopter pilot. Like that's her answer to everything. Well, I was a
She's a mama
helicopter
for her.
pilot.
Don't forget.
That's her. So that's her thing to everything. And that is what Fox News is talking about, that Jack Ciattarelli, who's running as the Republican, when she was on the Breakfast Club with Charlemagne the God, he asked her if she made $7 million in stock trades because the Washington Free Beacon said that, you know, she made $7 million when she was in Congress as a senator from New Jersey for what she was in for one term, right? That was it. And she somehow made $7 million. So Jack Ciattarelli at the debate gets up and says, well, I lost money. My business lost money, because he's a businessman. He goes, I lost money, you know, serving this state, trying, you know, running for governor and everything. She went to Washington, D.C. and made over $7 million. And she doesn't know what to say. And she told Charlemagne the God, but she goes, oh, well, I'll have to look into that. Like, you don't know that you made $7 million. Like, I don't know. I think most people would know if their bank account had $7 million more dollars in it than it had before. Like, I would notice if my bank account had $1,000 more in it than it did before.
It's the facts. Okay. Facts. I mean, the fact that she was like, oh, did I? Was it 7 million? Like that's not a flex. Like to say that I didn't notice that I got $7 million. And I would implore, the electorate at large, anytime an elected official significantly increases their net worth, keep an eye on them and keep an eye on both of their hands, quite frankly. And sometimes what these people will do is they won't necessarily break the law, but they'll kind of skirt around the law. And our standard of ethics as elected officials are very high. It's not even supposed to look like anything crazy. But you have elected officials who will do it all the time and smile right in your face, make all kinds of deals, even in their own districts. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So you got to keep an eye on this, folks.
The standards are high, but they're never enforced. So you can have all the standards you want. If there's never punishment for breaking the standards or the rules, then they're worthless. They could be very strict, but they're worthless.
And this is why the electorate has to pay attention and punish these folks at the ballot box.
So now the other thing that's going on here in New Jersey, and Bill brings this up, so I'm going to bring it in. And I know this sounds, and again, I'm worried about people who aren't in New Jersey, but this national election, like, you have to understand, if you're not from New Jersey, the Republican can actually win the governorship of New Jersey. It's just getting GOP voters off their butts and getting them out to vote. Get them to vote early, bank your vote. You got to do it. So this race is just as important as Virginia's race that everyone's watching. So people have to understand this. So Bill asks the question, just curious, what do you think about that, Rhino? Bill Spadia not backing Jack. So for those of you who don't know, but I think it's a national story, Jack Ciattarelli had the nomination last time around against Phil Murphy. And I personally think he won that, but there was a little hanky-panky that went on there. Overnight, all of a sudden, I had seen that play before. So this time around, Bill Spadia, a guy named Bill Spadia, ran against Jack Ciattarelli for the position to run as the Republican in the primary, and Bill lost. And honestly, I didn't care which one won, because I really didn't love Jack. I really didn't love Bill. I'm like, whatever, whoever gets it, okay, fine. That's what I'm going to vote for, because I'm not voting for the Democrat. I know that. So Bill is a radio host in New Jersey, and I think he's back. Is he back on the air? Or he goes back next month, I think. He goes back he's coming back somewhere along the line.
I'm so far south, I don't get 101.5, which is a station.
Yeah, he may be on. I think he's back on, because I've seen a lot of posts about him saying things on the air, kind of trashing the Republican candidate, saying he's not the best choice and this and that. Like, okay, I get that he broke up with you. You got dumped just before the prom. I get it. But that's no reason to trash the prom king now, like, and so there's a lot of people who are really upset with him because he's not helping. And he's going to get the blame if Jack loses.
Well, and listen, I have a couple of thoughts on this, just as a partisan, from a partisan perspective. If you run for a nomination and you lose, if you are a part of the party, you can do one of two things when you lose. You can either support the person who got the nomination,
Right,
or
like a
you
big
can
boy.
shut up. You can do no harm. If you just can't bring it in your heart to support the nominated candidate, then as a partisan, saying that you're part of a party, that's what being part of a party involves, then you do no harm. That's what you should do. And if you don't do that, then you should reconsider whether or not you should be a part of that party. Maybe you're really an independent, Bill. Maybe you're really a Democrat. I don't know. But to harm the to harm the candidate in your own party is just not the way to be a part of a party. And what it tells me is that you're probably a person who was trying to run for governor for yourself and not really for the good of the people of New Jersey. Because if it were for the people of New Jersey, then you would want a Republican to win as opposed to the Democrat. So that's what I think. Was that clear? Was I vague?
Yes, very clear. And I will say that what I'm seeing go on now, I'm super happy he didn't win. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
And I had a little incident with Mr. Spadia online on social media, and it was uncalled for and stupid. And I was just like, what the hell are you doing? Like, I merely asked a question about his immigration policy, and his people came after me. And I'm like, I'm just asking a question. And then he didn't name me by name in a post, but other people are like, Bill's talking about you. And I looked at it, I was like, dude, like,
there's no love lost.
How old are you? 8?
In South Jersey, in Cape May County. I'm the vice chair of Cape GOP. He didn't bother to come to our convention to get our endorsement. So because he didn't really feel as though Cape May County would move the needle for him. And that's fine, make that decision, but you can't cry when you don't get endorsed and when you lose the nomination. He literally lost all 21 counties for the nomination. So it was not even close. But no. If that's how you're going to purport yourself all over the state, you're not going to make friends. You're going to, trash different politicos in counties that you need. Then this was a predictable outcome for him.
He ran, for me, it was like he was the guy who was the quarterback of the football team and the big man on campus and everything, and glory days pass you by. And, listen, he's got a great gig on 101.5. He's the morning guy. It's a big 50,000 watt FM radio station. I used to be on it. And so I think he really just bought his own press, and it just came across as super childish. I thought the whole thing was really childish and very, very, very ungubernatorial. Dolly's here. Dolly says, hello, Star Driver is here from Franklin, Tennessee tonight.
Back your party or be quiet. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Mango Mush is here. Suze is here. Lexus is over on Rumble. Hello. Steve Redden from Now Tax USA. Kimmel Watch, will he be on tonight? Hello, all. Let's get ready to rumble. Yes.
Don't raise his ratings by watching. I'm tempted too, but don't do that. I'm just saying.
I agree.
And I'm not trying to cancel him or anything. I'm just saying, be strategic. Just wait for the clips to come out on social media.
It's like Kamala Harris's book. There's so many things we could talk about tonight. We're all over the place, but that's how this podcast goes. Because people bring stuff up and off we go, and that's fine. It's like
Kamala,
the ADD
race
podcast.
Was close.
Right. No. But no one's going to buy her book because everything's been leaked out.
True.
All the good parts have been leaked out. It's like the Real Housewives of New Jersey, but it's like the Real Housewives of Washington, D.C. And all of the palace intrigue and all the stuff that's going on in the background is delicious. And I love it. And it's fantastic.
We knew that.
Oh, it's awesome. I love it. Star Driver says NJ Diva in the house.
That's my Twitter handle. NJ Diva.
There you go. He clearly knows. Sal says in New York, common sense policies are considered anarchy.
Facts.
Porch View is here. Herman Sal says the UN is unnecessary.
That's what Trump said about it. Like, what is your job? I'm the one over here single-handedly, solving 7 wars. Isn't that what the UN's supposed to be doing? Basically,
yeah,
what Trump
exactly.
said today. And he's not wrong.
No, he's not. They gave me no help. UN, Kimmel, I'm writing all your suggestions down. We'll get to them all. I promise. We'll make it quick. I promise.
I said that not too long ago I was interviewed about my my white paper, and actually Town Hall picked up my op-ed about that UN plastics treaty, global plastics treaty that they tried to do and failed, fortunately. But I said, aren't they supposed to be solving wars? Why are they even involved in this? Aren't they supposed to be
Because
making peace all over?
they don't make money. They don't make money off peace.
Giant grift.
Manglemush says we need more of the 1210 listeners to come in on Tuesdays. Yes, you do. Let's get at it. We don't want it to be a virus. Here you go. Hermit Sal says wind turbines being forced upon us is a sign of domination or authoritarianism.
Sure. And it's bad. Read those studies. Before I started speaking about wind turbines, I read a bunch of studies on them, and they're bad news. But a lot of people are not going to nerd out and do the homework.
Well, it is hard. I will tell you, I do a ton of reading, which is why, and everything, like, because of my job, I'm constantly show prepping all the time. Like, it's just constantly. And same thing for you, right? And so that's why I watch Real Housewives of New Jersey. That's why I watch, 90 Day Fiance. That's why I watch stuff that I can, don't
Love is
game on my
It's my guilty pleasure.
Right.
And as soon as they come out with a Love is Blind Golden or whatever, I'm there.
Is that like The Bachelor?
If they do a Love is Blind, the golden years, I promise you, I will be the first one filling out an application.
Oh, that would be awesome.
That is a great show. I would do it on
Golden Bachelor. What about the Golden Bachelor?
Maybe.
I would love that. Oh, you have to let me know if you do it. Let me know if you
But
apply.
the whole concept behind Love is Blind, I love the whole thing. And I was at someone else's house and they were binge watching it, and then I was completely invested.
Of course. It's so easy to get completely invested in all of this stuff. Although since we came back from Israel, we've been watching The Chosen, and so now we're deep into that, because now we're like, oh, we were there. Oh, that's Peter's house. We saw that. We were there. It's like, it makes it more. It definitely, it's a different experience now, having been there and having seen all those things.
I'll bet.
So, let's see. Rebecca says she is multitasking this evening and combing the illegal aliens off of her dog.
Oh, dear.
Star Driver says, do not watch Kimmel. Everyone will turn in. The ratings will go up and they'll call it a win.
That's what I just said.
Yep, exactly.
Don't do it. Wait for the clips to come on social media. Don't drive his ratings up. Because I am morbidly curious as well, but I will not be watching. I've never watched it, and I'm continuing that streak.
But it's like The View, right? I refuse to give the Yenses the time of day, because they're more. I'm dumber after I watch that show, and I just can't afford to lose any more brain cells as I age. I just got to keep whatever I got. So I don't watch it, but I will wait for the clips, because if somebody says like something unusually stupid, which I know that's hard, but if someone really says something stupid, it'll be on Fox. It'll be the clip.
It'll be everywhere. Yeah,
and
Gutfeld's going to play it.
100%.
He's got a clip from their show like every night.
We were watching last night's Gutfeld this evening during dinner. I love that show. I just adore Gutfeld. I think it's hilarious. That's funny. Kimmel's not funny. Gutfeld's hilarious.
Best thing that ever happened to me was when they moved it to 10 o'clock, because 11 was a struggle for the old lady over here.
Yeah, but if he was at 11, he could be kicking their butts in the ratings, and it would be so good.
Yes.
That would be worth it. Sal wants to know, he says, wind turbines don't seem to be structurally stable. What say you?
I say that he's on to something there. In Nantucket, one of them broke apart or something, and the fiberglass was all over the place.
All over. I saw that. Yeah.
Huge problem. And they don't know what to do with them when they break. Yep. They're literally going into landfills.
Yep. And they're huge.
Ridiculous.
They're huge.
And that's the other thing. And that's why, you have to make sure you don't call them windmills, because when people think of windmills, they think of these little small rickety things with wood on them. That is not what these things are. These things are huge behemoths, huge metal behemoths in the middle of the ocean. There's nothing tiny, small about them. They are turbines, mechanical.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, I also think of, like, when you say windmill, I think of a little Dutch person in the wooden shoes and the tulips, right? The hat and all that.
No, they are turbines. Call them what they are. You have to create the visual.
Now Tax says they also make a really bad day for parasurfers.
I'm sure, and for birds as well. Like
they're very
all
bad
kinds
for
of birds. And they actually have written into all of their little contracts that you can Eagles or Giants fan. I live in South Jersey. Eagles, come on. Come on now. but they actually have a certain amount of sea life that are allowed to die, and a certain amount of birds that are allowed to die as a result of the wind turbines. But yet these are supposedly environmentalists. Make it
They
make
can
sense.
sacrifice a certain amount of wildlife for their ideology. That's the way
Correct.
they are.
Yes.
John is here. John is here from Wendy Bell Radio over on Rumble. Thank you. Sue says Eagles fans. Mangles Eagles. I don't care. Eagles or John. I don't care.
I mean, listen,
I'm just
honestly, I usually am a fan
coming
of
over.
whoever I'm dating at the time, like whoever his team is, like that's, but, absent of that, Eagles. I'm originally from Philly. I live in South Jersey. It's Eagles all the way.
Star Driver says the rest of the country needs New Jersey and Virginia to go red. Come on, Republicans. Yeah, absolutely. So if you really need it, you could donate to some of the campaigns for Winsome Earl Sears or for Jack Chitterelli. They could use it. The big thing is going to be getting out the vote, especially in New Jersey, because Republicans don't vote in New Jersey. I think Republicans just feel like, yeah, the state's lost. It's going to go Democrat anyway. And that's why I think they don't really get a lot of help from the national, because the national kind of thinks, oh, New Jersey's a lost state. Why should we waste our money here? We can win Virginia.
But
So they don't spend their money.
I don't know if that's the narrative anymore.
Good.
I think that what you said is certainly the conventional wisdom, especially with special elections like what we have now. But I think after Trump got so close, after Jack got the Trump endorsement, Trump lost by just under 6 points, I believe. So lost New Jersey, which typically Republican presidential candidates lose New Jersey by 20, and we got within striking distance. So I don't think that even national has that as their conventional wisdom anymore. I think that they are invested. And I also think that the Mondani race in New York being so close to New Jersey is of concern. And I think that, right. So I think that that national also feels like if you can get Jack in, then that will kind of help to give some pushback being so close to New York. And God forbid that communist gets to be mayor of New York.
Well, he's going to get in, number one, and because Republicans
stop.
Listen. You just got to listen. You just prep yourself for it, because what's going to happen is, and it's not going to affect you, but it's going to affect me, because all the communists are then once they get what they voted for, are going to come pouring out of New York, even more so than they already are.
Oh, you're in Northern Jersey.
I'm in Central Jersey. I'm at the Jersey Shore in Central Jersey.
I'm just kidding.
There is. What's North Jersey to you?
Atlantic City. I'm just kidding. That's only 40 minutes for me. That's why I said that.
But they come
County's
over
very elitist when it comes to South Jersey. We think we're the only South Jersey. Is Cape May County.
Well, at least you admit it.
We do.
Gregory says,
and there is no Central Jersey. Only North and South. That's it.
Gregory says Texas was the trial which proved that solar and wind are truly unsound. The wind turbines froze solid during the cold snap.
Yes,
remember?
Did. Yep.
What would happen up here? It gets so cold up here. We're so much colder than Texas.
And these people really don't care. They say very casually that your electric bills are going to necessarily go up 30 to 40%. Even Orsted, who is the group that tried to come into Cape May County and put the wind turbines off our course, their own study said that tourism would be negatively affected by 15%. Now, if their own study said that, what do you think the real numbers are? And by the way, if our tourism is negative 15%, that affects jobs. That affects taxes. That affects our infrastructure, because taxes pay for the infrastructure. And not for nothing, because right now we basically are under communist rule with the Murphy administration. What that also means is that all those tourism dollars that they unwillfully wrestle out of the hands of Cape May County that goes all over the state is going to be much less if the wind turbines came here. It's a ripple effect that they will have.
Yeah. Sal commenting about the money that Mikey Sherrill made said, if she's not sure if she made the money or how she made the money, how can she run the state's economy? Yeah, Star Driver, you mean like Ilhan Omar going from just over 100,000 to 30 million net worth in 1 year? Yeah. Sal says standards are written in pencil nowadays.
It's a fact. And
Manglemush said, I can't call Charlemagne the god because it shows his arrogance. It's blasphemous.
I only call him Charlemagne too. Same.
Yeah. I
I'm
just
with
didn't
you
know
on
if
that.
everybody knew who I was talking about if I didn't say the god.
Yeah.
Dolly Madison says everybody has to vote. Ron says Spady is dissing both candidates to depress turnout.
Which means it was never about helping the people in the state of New Jersey. Because if you wanted to help the people in the state of New Jersey, there is no way that you don't want the Republican to win, unless it's all about you. And it's sad. I really don't. I don't get it. Just be an independent. Why come in and ruin one of the parties? Why come in and try to damage one of the parties? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and he is back on the morning show, so he's back. Democrats are hoping that Mickey Sherrill, being a Navy veteran chopper pilot, will score points. Big deal. I was air crew on a U.S. Air Force auxiliary Cessna 172 Skyhawk, so he could be a governor too.
Well, and it's problematic for her because the Democrats don't like the military, so and they're not very happy with her bragging about her military service because they're not. I shouldn't say Democrats. Let me not say that. Let me say that more succinctly. Leftists. Yes, leftists.
Both of us are leftists.
Do not like the military. So she, sometimes she gets like a little bit booed when she mentions her military service, and I feel like she only does it out of desperation at this point.
100%. Yeah. Susie says she's in PA and she's had to hold her nose a lot of times, but I still voted. Bill needs to grow up. And thank you, Sal, for your service. Suze thanked him for his service. Thank you. We appreciate that, Sal.
Indeed, we do.
Sal says, Spadia was rude to Mary. Hey, Spadia, you can kiss a certain part of my anatomy. He was rude. He was very rude, unnecessarily so.
Hey, listen, I hear you, brother. I told you I was at Blexit and he came to our Blexit event, and I want to be clear, I was supporting the Blexit event because it was in Cape May County and I'm vice chair of Cape GOP, but I've never been a Democrat. No shade on people who have, but I just want to be clear about that. But he came probably to campaign or whatever, and he had armed security with him, and I'm like, you need armed security in Cape May County? Or is it because you were at a Blexit event? I don't know what the reason is. I never asked them, but I took a little bit of offense to that. Like, why? Because either way, you came to my county, my home, which is super duper safe with armed security, like it's a dangerous place, which it isn't. Like you need armed security, or is it because it was a bunch of black folks at a park? I don't know.
Is Atlantic City in Cape May County?
No, Atlantic County.
Okay. So it wasn't at Atlantic City, because in Atlantic City, I understand security. I get that.
It was at the Cape May County Park and Zoo. Our zoo is one.
Are you kidding? I know exactly where that is.
Exactly.
It's so benign.
Right. Exactly. Whatever. Anybody who's ever been to the Cape May County Park and Zoo, which by the way is one of the top 13 zoos in the world, not like in the world, top 13. I'm very, very proud of all the things that we have down here in Cape May County, the shore, the wineries, but the zoo is definitely just a diamond that we have down here. And Bill Spadia chose to bring armed security with him.
Well, the rhinos could get rowdy,
when he came to visit, because, a bunch of, black Republicans that left the Democrat Party were having to get together.
Gregory says next month Kamala's book will be on sale at Ollie's Bargain Outlet for $5.
Facts. I agree. I think that's right.
Star Driver, I heard if you buy her book, you get complimentary vodka sample and a small white baggie.
Mikey Sherrill reminds me so much of Kamala Harris, though.
They call her Vanilla Harris.
I call her Wamala, but that's White Kamala.
White Kamala. Wamala.
East Coast Kamala. Have you ever heard her talk? And I used to say the same thing about Kamala supporters. I'm like, you've heard her talk and you're supporting. Like,
can you listen to that for 4 years?
For like a long period of time, you've heard her speak, and it's not about her not being the fact that she's not very well spoken. It's not that. It's that what she's saying doesn't make sense. And she doesn't seem
Right.
like she did her homework. All of that is highly
No.
problematic.
It's and they learned nothing with Kamala because it was the same thing. It was the same thing. All right, so let's talk about let's talk a little bit about Trump being at the UN, because I don't know if you saw this story that the Times of the UK, the Times UK, is running a story, and they think, and I've seen this now, that Trump was sabotaged at the UN
I heard
because
this.
there was a series of glitches. And last week, the Sunday Times UK reported that UN workers joked about turning off an escalator. On Monday, an escalator broke down as Melania Trump, the first lady, stepped onto it. When Trump got to the podium, the teleprompter wasn't working, although service was later restored, while the main UN audio feed to TV news channels got switched over to a foreign language translation towards the end of his speech,
I heard
obscuring
that.
some of
I
his
did hear
words.
that part. I was listening.
Yeah, the Sunday Times reported that figures inside the UN had been overheard, quote unquote, joking before the event about stunts they could pull to highlight the funding shortage faced by the organization because the Trump administration was withholding cash. So on Tuesday, and somebody could have been hurt when that thing just stopped, when the escalator just stopped. Somebody could have been hurt. They say if this was a deliberate act designed to embarrass the president, it backfired when Trump worked it into his speech. After criticizing the UN for doing nothing to assist with his peacemaking efforts, as you pointed out, Trump said, "All I got from the United Nations was an escalator that on the way up stopped right in the middle. If the first lady wasn't in great shape, she would have fallen. And then a teleprompter that didn't work. These are two things I got from the United Nations, a bad escalator and a bad teleprompter. Thank you very much."
Yep.
So
it was awesome. I mean, listen, if you think you're going to shake the guy who got shot in the ear and stood up and said, "Fight, fight, fight." You think you're going to shake him with a broken elevator and a messed up teleprompter? You think you're going to shake that guy? Not going to happen.
Not at all.
Not going to happen.
Star Driver said, on a side note, if you have a Sirius subscription, you can listen to previous episodes of Gutfeld. I do that so I don't miss Mary, Wilkel, Webb, Breitbart, etc. Thank you, Star Driver. He's so good.
I did not know
He's such a
this.
super fan. I did not know that either, because that will be on Sirius all next week, Sirius Patriot Channel, in for David Webb.
I used to do Sirius XM back in the day. I was a guest host when they were waiting to get Steve Bannon for his show.
Oh, okay.
I was a guest host in that spot. Little rotating guest host action.
Yeah.
But yes.
Now Tax says, we have a home in Northern Virginia too, and Winsome is very quiet. It's very troubling.
Yeah, listen, I know a lot of DC, Virginia folks. Not the first time I've heard that. Like just people complaining that you really, and listen, I'm not close to the campaign, but I will use Jack Ciattarelli as a model for how to do a statewide campaign. Cape May County, he's going to win Cape May County, right? Trump won all 3 times, won Cape May County. And we are literally at the end of the state. Exit 0 on the Parkway. We are in the peninsula.
Yeah. Part of you is below the Mason-Dixon line. Part
yes,
of Cape
ma'am.
Is below
People
the
don't
Mason
believe when I
line.
say that, but that is 100% true. That's right. Part of us is below the Mason-Dixon line, and he has been down here many, 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 many times. And I don't. Mike and Cheryl claims she's been down here, but she is not. I do not believe she has been to Cape May County.
I will give Jack Ciattarelli credit. He is running a much better campaign than he did last time.
An amazing campaign.
100%. Yeah, way, way better. I was peripherally involved last time around towards the end of the campaign, getting him booked on, radio shows and some television things and things like that, and get his name to producers and stuff. And sometimes he would miss the hit because his comms person, I don't know, somebody just dropped the ball. I'm like, how are you missing a radio hit on the Brian Kilmeade radio show? How is this happening right now?
Yeah, you don't miss that hit.
But this time around, I have to give them credit. They have, as far as I can see, they've run a very, very good campaign.
Well, I'll tell you, I know the youngins that are like the main folks that are running his campaign, and they are absolutely amazing. They're doing a great job. They really are killing it.
That's good. That's good. Dolly says there is a Central Jersey. Ron says Central Jersey is real. Care to take on pork roll now? Oracle versus Taylor Ham.
Book versus Taylor Ham. No,
That's right.
no.
Okay, so let's also talk about Jimmy Kimmel, because we're getting towards to where we only have like 15 minutes left, and there's lots of comments here, and I'm not going to get to all of them. Porch View Farm, the Secret Service announced it was a thwarted cyber attack. That was something different, I thought. The cyber attack, I talked about it today on the air. They found all these SIM cards in the 35-mile radius of the UN, but I don't think that had anything to do with the escalator and the teleprompter at the UN. I don't think it had anything to do with that. The cyber attack was going to like shut down all the phones. It had the capability of shutting all the phones in that area.
Yes.
They recovered these things from New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut, the tri-state area. So I don't think that had anything to do with.
I don't think so either, and because apparently some of those SIM cards had connections to cartels and other known criminals, other criminals that were known to the Secret Service. So I'm not even sure. At least I don't think they've determined yet whether that even had anything to do with the UN per se.
Yeah. Gregory says people die on escalators are fairly innocuous, but can still be deadly. Oh, you see them all the time in Asia. Do you ever see there's always videos whenever there's someone getting sucked into an escalator? They're always Asian. They're always in like Japan and China.
What exactly are they doing? Get on the escalator, stand still and get off.
No,
what are you doing?
They're standing on the escalator and all of a sudden like there's this malfunction and like the things part and somebody goes falling into the mechanism.
Oh,
like
dear.
Yes. I've seen it, several of those videos, and they're always Asian. I don't understand.
May those algorithms never cross my social media. That's not something I need to see.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah. Mango Mush says Kamala sounds like a stoned college student that forgot to study on a presentation and is trying to wing it.
That's exactly right. As a former teacher, I absolutely co-sign that analysis. And I said that many times during her campaign, that she always struck me as a student who didn't study. And I will tell you, as a Black woman in politics, and I don't know why this happens, because Mary Walter, I don't feel like when a white candidate doesn't do well, that you're like, why is she reflecting on white women that way? I don't feel like it happens that way, but for some reason, when you're a Black woman, when Black women do crazy stuff, they look at other Black women like, are you going to do it too? Like it just doesn't, and I'm paranoid. It's embarrassing to me. As a Black woman, do better.
Yeah, no, I hear you. It's not embarrassing. Like if a white woman does something stupid, I really don't take it upon myself to be embarrassed for all white women. I'm like, oh, you're a moron.
Right.
But or for all women or anything along those lines.
Exactly.
I have another topic now, but very quickly, Micah Pelka slowed down her book Kamala reading her book today. It was hilarious. She sounded so loaded. Sal tried to listen to me on KWAM, but all I got was music. Are you sure it was 990? The mighty 990.com. If you go to just look for KWAM online or just search on TuneIn for KWAM, the mighty 990. That's what they go by. So sometimes it's hard to find, but we weren't playing music. So I don't know what you were doing, Sal. Were you drunk? I don't know. Dolly Madison's got to run. James wants to watch the Phillies. Sending love. Thank you so much, Dolly. Bill says you need to have Melanie on more. She's very pretty and very smart. Aww.
I appreciate you, sir. Thank you.
So very quickly, because I do want to get to Kimmel, but what we were just talking about, did you see Jasmine Crockett, Jazzy? Did you see her on Sunday? I think she was on, and she was talking about Charlie Kirk, and she was upset that only 2 Caucasians voted against the bill to give a holiday for him. It wasn't about the content, but it was the way she was saying it. She didn't have the accent. She was using proper English. Like she was not jazzy. She was actually Jasmine Crockett, and she sounded like a sane person, which to me says that the whole Jasmine from the Hood thing is the jazzy jazz from the Hood is an act. And why would you put that on? Why would you put that on?
100% an act. Private school educated. She has no frame of reference for the Hood. She's got about as much frame of reference for the Hood as I do growing up in Cape County, where it's 4% Black. Like, stop it. And not for nothing. She's just she comes off as a very hateful person. And I don't like her demeanor. I don't like the hate, the race mongering. I don't like any of it. But I think it's completely an act, and it's an insulting act as well.
Yes.
Because what it says is that you feel like when you are around other Black folks, that's the way you have to speak in order for them to understand you. It's disgusting, and she should stop.
Yeah, I don't know who she's impressing with that act, because it makes her seem so rough.
There's this thing, Mary, that when you're Black and you speak proper English, there are some folks that will criticize you for that, for assimilating, for giving in to white supremacy. There's a whole mantra on the far left that says that. So I would argue that she's playing to her base when she does that, but that's the problem. She's playing to her base and being completely inauthentic, and in the end, not helping the people that she claims that she's helping.
Yeah, I just don't get it. I think, honestly, I think it's like you said, I think it's insulting. I also think it's kind of racist to assume that this is how Black people sound: uneducated, can't speak English, always ready for a fight, and then they get upset.
Gonna grab that and say, Mary Walter said Black people can't speak English. Like, they're just gonna they're not gonna grab the background,
the beginning part of it. Maybe more people will watch the podcast then.
Oh my goodness.
It's a win-win for me at this point.
But it's highly insulting.
Yeah.
It's absolutely insulting. She should be very proud of the fact that she's well educated and can speak with authority and is very articulate, because there are young women watching her who look like her, who want to be an elected official someday, who want to make a difference. And she should be presenting herself as a model for that. And many times she doesn't. And it's sad.
But then she would be agreeing with Charlie Kirk, who said, when they cut it, like, oh, Charlie Kirk's a racist. When he says, your identity, don't let people tell you that your identity holds you back, that you are only your identity, that you can't do this and you can't do that. You're so much more than your identity, blah, blah, blah. And so she would then have to agree with him, and she can't do that. She can't do that.
I can't believe that she actually believes the horrible things that she says about white people. And I can't believe that people don't accuse her of being a racist more, because she outright says white people this, white people that. I don't understand how she gets away with it.
Because who's going to protest against it? White people are racist because we're the oppressors. That's how it works.
But who's going to call her existing? Like, I don't get that.
Well, who's going to call her on it? Who's going to call her? The white person on CNN or MSNBC who truly believes that they're sitting in that chair because of their white privilege. Do you think they're going to call her out on it? No, of course not. They don't want to lose their job. They'd rather just let's ride this train as long as I can and keep cashing the checks. They don't care.
It's gross. They're gross.
Yes, it is gross. Speaking of gross, Jimmy Kimmel's back tonight. But here's the thing. He's losing all of his Sinclair and all of his Nexstar affiliates. They are not going to be running his show. One of them is going to be running reruns of, like, what is it? What's the show with Steve Harvey? It used to be Richard Dawson.
Family Feud.
Family Feud. I had Jeopardy and Match Game stuck in my head, and I was like, if I say either one of them, I'll throw her off the track. Family Feud. They're like rerunning Family Feud because they think it gets better ratings than Jimmy Kimmel. Because in their areas, there's the fair serve, or the service, something about service, where you're supposed to service they have an obligation to service their community and serve what's in the best interest. It's the best interest clause. And the best interest clause, and they feel that it doesn't serve their community because they don't want to see this. They haven't been watching Jimmy Kimmel. The ratings are low there. So they said, we're not going to do this. And so they did what they were supposed to do. They watched it as they were, they pulled it. So now he's going to lose. He has like about 300 and some odd affiliates that carry his show, 300 ABC stations. So he's only going to lose like 88 stations. So it's not a lot, but he's already third in the ratings out of Fallon, Kimmel, and Colbert.
And is his contract up soon?
I don't know. I think it's a year from now.
Up in a couple months.
Yeah. Okay. So he's number 3 in the ratings. They're losing money on the show. And I think ABC saw this as a way to get rid of him, but they couldn't deal with the pressure because they didn't know what to do with themselves. So instead of just writing it out, they caved and now they brought him back. So now they're going to have to put up with someone who is making $0 for the company, actually losing money, and has no ratings.
Well, and you know what I think is really interesting? I saw on my social media, I leave some leftists on my page because I don't want my page to be an echo chamber, and they're entertaining. But I saw them kind of taking a victory lap about like, oh yeah, see, we can do it too on the right. We can protest and get our people back too. And I'm like, we stopped watching. We weren't watching anyway. We stopped watching Disney a long time ago. So if we already left and then you left, then they would have no one. Like, I don't think it's the flex that they thought it was. It's not like everybody was watching, right? And then they protested and brought them back. Like, we were already gone.
Right. Exactly. So, it's like Bud Light. Bud Light never got those people back.
Right. So how was it a flex, really? I was just like, believe what you want.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. Porch View Farm said, I lived in all black inner city Cleveland. Crockett would never have lasted, and nobody cared that I'm white. Melanie is a great guest. Have her return.
Yes, thank you, Hermit Sal.
Isn't that nice?
I appreciate you.
Now Tax says, one reason America is great is we speak one language coast to coast. Communication is the key to truth and peace and prosperity. Yeah, Charlie knew that. That's why they killed him.
Sounds super racist. I don't know. No, I think you're absolutely. And that's the thing. Like, they always want to be on this race thing, but to me, it's like logical and common sense. Like, it's just logic and common sense.
Speaking logic and common sense, did you have John Fetterman as being the most common sense, sane Democrat congressman on your 2025 bingo card? Because I didn't have that at all.
Definitely did not. But he lives in a super swing state, right? Like, Pennsylvania is super swing state. But he does have common sense. And I mean, especially, when he was recovering from that stroke, things were really dicey for a second there. And it just seems like, he recovered very well and even maybe improved.
He's still painful to listen to. Like, he does what Kamala does. He gets a word and he keeps saying, like, the last thing I saw when he was talking about shutting down the government, Democrats shutting down the government. He kept saying this budget thing, and they voted for the thing. And I was like, oh, he's stuck on that word. So he still is having some processing problems.
Yeah.
But I didn't care about how he got the word out. I was just like, damn, dude, you make more sense than everybody else.
And I like the fact that he will say so. And that's what we need to get back to. Listen, as partisans, it's tough. You got to be a partisan. And sometimes your party does things that you don't like. You don't always agree with what your party is going to do. But when it comes to policy, and particularly when you are representing certain people, when you are an elected official, you have got to speak the truth. Whether your party agrees with it or not, you have to speak in a way that the people you represent would want you to. And I think that's what John Fetterman is doing. And I think that's what elected officials should do. We have a representative style government. And that means that your mouth should be saying what your constituents would want you to say.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's happening with John Fetterman. And I would hope that that's how most elected officials would carry themselves. We know that that's not the case, but that's the way it should be.
Yeah. Manglemush said, has anyone seen my white privilege? I posted flyers and all, and no one's called me yet. Please help.
As Charlie was saying, can I do anything that you can't do? And the answer is no.
No, exactly. Now Tax says those affiliate channels are 25% of his audience, approximately 500,000 viewers. Well, it's going to be a big hit. He also says freedom of speech does not include lying. That is public perjury. Unless you're a member of Congress and you're lying on the House or Senate floor, then they're protected under the speech and debate clause, and they're allowed to lie. Isn't it nice that they wrote themselves that little out?
Hold on, what?
Yeah, speech and debate clause allows them to lie. Yeah, that's why Adam Schiff can't be brought up for lying or anything like that. Only if he's under oath, which they have a D after their name, so it's different when they do it. But only under oath can you get dinged. But the speech and debate clause protects their right to lie.
I love how there's such free speech advocates when it comes to Jimmy Kimmel show, but when it comes to Charlie Kirk getting shot in the throat for saying people should get married and have babies and not surgically alter children because they have gender confusion, he should be shut up.
Yeah.
They absolutely shut down the president of the United States on social media. They censored him, and suddenly your free speech advocates, stop it.
Well, what's his name? Came out, Schmuckerberg came out and said, yeah, we were pressured by the Biden administration. He just put something out, and that they're reinstating now all of these accounts that were shut down under Biden. Shut them down. Scott says he's enjoying the show. Star Driver says you did a great job on the Charlie Kirk Memorial Service on Sirius XM. Thank you. That was a really long 6 hours. 6 hours.
I could, I didn't have the emotional bandwidth to do it. I actually didn't watch it. I was already so sad.
I kind of got it out. I just cried and cried and cried for days when it first happened. And then I just was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. And I do the show. So Sue says it was not on my bingo card, but Fetterman is making me feel better about him until he votes. Always do. Yeah.
Yeah, she's not.
Ron says, hey, folks, like the show, hit the thumbs up. Yes, please like the show, hit the thumbs up. I'm going to leave you with this one question. Then we are out of here. We have 3 minutes. I want to know, do you think that we see the Charlie effect, the Kirk effect, whatever you want to call it, last? Do you see people continue to going to church? And all these people made a big show and did all these videos. I'm going to church for the first time in 20 years. I've never been. I'm going for the first time. Kids, I'm going to go. And this surge for Turning Point USA and this surge. Does that peter out? Because, Americans have the attention span of like golden retriever puppies.
Sure.
What do you think?
I am hopeful. Okay, I absolutely believe in the spiritual component to all of this. I absolutely believe that God will allow certain things based on what he knows will happen. Make no mistake, this was not God's idea for Charlie to go out like this. But I do believe when he saw that hateful act was coming, that he allowed it because he knew the effect that it would have on the movement. And I do not mean the political movement. I do mean the spiritual movement. And so God's goal always is to draw people to him. So in that vein, I think that the people who are supposed to listen, who have ears to listen and eyes to see, will. I think that this created a separation. You had people who were out and out leftists absolutely crying. Jamie Lee Curtis crying.
Yes.
That means there are people on the left that can be saved. And I strongly believe that what happened here with Charlie Kirk created a separation. It showed who people are at their core. If you were dancing on his grave, you need to pray hard for forgiveness and repent and get those demons away from you. If you cried despite disagreeing with him politically, then you can be saved. And I believe that those people are who God was after. Do I know if it was going to be if the surge is going to be maintained? I don't know, but I'm hopeful.
Yeah, I'm hopeful too. And I do think that the execution of Charlie Kirk was public and we were allowed to see it for a reason.
Agreed. And it was his throat. Nobody really talks about that, but that was the first thing I noticed when I first saw the video. Is that bullet hit his throat, and I do not think that was an accident.
No, just like I think that Trump turned his head at that moment, because I think St. Michael protected him. That's me personally. It's Catholic of me coming out.
There was a purpose. There was a purpose.
Yeah, there was a purpose. Trump had to become president, so he was saved. But Charlie is probably doing more, and his message is louder in death than it was in life. So I think it is. It's worldwide now. It's worldwide.
That's right. And remember, the way God looks at it is like this. It's a lot of time for us, and he doesn't look at Charlie as dead, and neither should we.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Well, Melanie Collette, thank you so much. You can follow her on X at NJ GOP Diva. You can find her there. And I really appreciate it. Are you going to be like anywhere else? Are you any place where people could hear you or see you? Have anything coming up?
I'll be on Newsmax tomorrow, 7:25. Actually, I'll be on N2 on First Edition.
Okay, great. Fantastic. Yep. All right.
12 hours.
That is a long time. That's an early time. Yeah, it's an early time is what I meant to say, not a long time, but
It's an
that's early.
early hit.
7:25 is early.
Woo, it's an
It
early hit.
is. Yeah, that's an early one. I try to dodge around the early ones. Like, oh, sorry, guess what? I'm working. Oh, well.
I had a 6 o'clock one. I had a 6 a.m. one about a month ago. I was like, oh.
Doing it in the city?
No, I did not go in studio, and I'm not going in studio tomorrow. It's a remote.
Yeah, the fact that you drive all the way up to Manhattan, and then do you drive in the city? You drive in Manhattan?
It depends. If it's the weekend, I'll drive in Manhattan. If it's during the week, I take the train. But no, the weekend is not bad at all.
Yeah.
Not bad at all.
That train ride's got to be insane for you.
It is, because I have to get on in like Metro Park. Like, I have to drive like an hour.
Okay.
There's no trains. We don't have any of that stuff down here in South in Cape May County. We don't have any of that.
That's crazy.
You got to have a car.
All right. Well, now Tax says, good night. In memory of Charlie, no greater love can you have than to lay down your life for a friend and
Indeed.
his or her nation. So Gregor says, Melanie makes the salient point. If this movement was purely political, it would peter out. So Star Driver, over 100 million streams watching Charlie's memorial around the world. All right, Melanie, thank you. It was great to see you. I really appreciate you joining us.
Thank you for the invite.
Take care, my friend. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye. All right. So I will see all of you Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I will see you on Todd Starnes' show, KWAM, the Mighty 990. If you look for that, he's out of Memphis. And you can go to tune in and look for KWAM, and it should come up, the Mighty 990. And I'll be on from noon to 3, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then next week, Monday through Friday, I'm in for David Webb on Sirius Patriot Channel 125. Monday, I should be on the Chris Salcedo show. It is now between 5 and 6, no longer 4 to 5. They've moved it back to 5 to 6, although I have a habit of getting bumped for Donald Trump. He likes to talk on Mondays, apparently. I don't know why, but he likes to have his press conferences on Monday, so we've been getting bumped. So there's that. And then, of course, the podcast will be next week. I don't even know who the guest is going to be. Maybe it'll just be us. We'll see. Thank you so much, everybody. I really appreciate you. Thank you again, as I said, for joining me. You guys are the best. Love you. So God bless. Bye-bye.